This is Counseling Gifted Students, Chapter 29, Nicholas Colangelo, facilitated by Christina Lott. There are two main views about psychological well-being of gifted students. They are generally well-adjusted, at least as well as the general student population. That giftedness brings a variety of interpersonal and interpersonal issues. Advanced cognitive abilities and intensity of feelings cause gifted students to deal with issues differently than the general population and with peers who usually chastise them for being smart. History of counseling the gifted. The importance of counseling the gifted began in the 1960s and is continuing to become more emphasized to support the emotional intelligence of students. Self-concept. The definition of self-concept has changed over time, but Neil Hart, 1999, states that self-concept is a collection of ideas that one has about oneself, an essential component of what is usually called personality. Simply having high self-esteem, self-concept, does not ensure pro-social behavior, and we must consider that students with high positive self-concepts may also perform actions with negative consequences. Multi-potentiality in gifted students. These students have trouble making a decision, have trouble choosing a path from so many realistic possibilities. Problems with multi-potentiality, especially with career choices. Students find it hard to narrow to a single career since they have so many equally viable options. Multi-potential students also suffer from perfectionism. They look for the perfect or ideal career. Students feel coerced by parents and others to make decisions based on status and high earning potential. Students must make commitments that require long-term schooling, such as graduate and professional school. This causes a delay of independence in terms of earning adequate salaries and delayed gratification. How counseling can help multi-potentiality. A career should be explored as a way of life, a lifestyle rather than a particular job or position. One does not have to limit oneself to one career. There can be career changes. Use leisure activities as a way to continually develop areas of ability and interest apart from one's career. Use career counseling as a value-based activity, exploring broad categories of life satisfaction. Emphasize peer discussions and group work with other multi-potential youth so that one can see that he or she is not alone with concerns. Benefits of group counseling. Group counseling affords students a rare opportunity to share with one another their struggles and questions about growing up and what it means to be gifted. Sessions should be structured and facilitated by a trained leader. Some topics for discussion may include: what does it mean to be gifted? How is being gifted advantageous for you? How can it be a disadvantage? Have you ever deliberately hidden your giftedness? How is your participation in the group counseling session different from your regular school day? What does it mean to be a gifted boy, girl, or of a different race or ethnic group? Is there a time in school, elementary, middle, or high, when it is easier or more difficult to be gifted? Group counseling. Group counseling should transform students from spectators to participants. Counseling questions that lead to vertical self-disclosure help build more information on how a student feels. Horizontal self-disclosure questions connect students together and bring them from spectators to participants. An example of a horizontal self-disclosure question would be, who in this group do you think feels the same way you do? Counseling with families. The family has been recognized as a primary and critical component in the development of talent and the success of children in school. Counselors and therapists who work with families of gifted children rarely have expertise in the area of gifted, but are experts in family counseling. Parent-school interactions. One of the most important issues confronting school counselors is the parent-school relationship. The role the school should take in providing special education opportunities for gifted students. There are 4 types of parent-school interactions. Type 1 is cooperation. Both parents and the school feel like the school should be active in gifted education. Information is openly shared, and there is cooperation between school and parents. Type 2 is conflict. This is the most challenging type of parent-school interaction. There are conflicting attitudes by active parents and a passive school regarding the role of school. The school believes typical curriculum is adequate, and they feel that the parent is pushy and demands too much for the gifted student. Parents feel the need to aggressively push for special gifted programs that are not being provided by the school. Type 3 is interference. This is where the school actively wants to provide for a child, but the parent does not agree with the services. Parents fear difficulties and hardships that might accompany a gifted label. Type 4 is natural development. Both parents and school agree that the school's role should be passive. This is founded on the premise that high ability will take care of itself. Underachievement. In the Family Counseling Program at the Connie Boleyn and Jacqueline N. Blank International Center for Gifted Education and Talent Development, underachievement has been the #1 presenting problem. Underachievement is seen as a discrepancy between assessed potential and actual performance. Reyes distinguished 2 types of underachievement: temporary, which is a response to situational stress or an event, and chronic, which is a history and pattern of underachievement. For counselors, underachievement is not so much a discrepancy between scores, but a relationship between teachers, parents, and sometimes peers. There were some other people who did research on underachievement, and they made different categories. Whitmore proposed 3 types of underachievers: aggression, withdrawn, and a rebellious combination of the 2. Another researcher proposed categories of non-producer and underachiever. The underachiever is a problem that demands a long-term solution. Reyes' research on underachievement summarized underachievement in 8 points. The beginnings of underachievement in many young people occur in elementary school. Underachievement appears to be periodic and episodic, occurring some years and not others, and in some classes but not others. A direct relationship seems to exist between inappropriate or too easy content in elementary school and underachievement in middle or high school. Parental issues interact with the behaviors of some underachievers, yet no clear pattern exists about the types of parental behaviors that cause underachievement. Peers can play a major role in keeping underachievement from occurring in their closest friends, making peer groups an important part of preventing and reversing underachievement. Busier adolescents who are involved in clubs, extracurricular activities, sports, and religious activities are less likely to be underachievers in school. Many similar behavioral characteristics are exhibited by bright students who achieve and underachieve in school. There are some students who may underachieve as a direct result of an inappropriate and unmotivating curriculum. Dual exceptionalities. The presence of learning and developmental disabilities has been shown to be associated with both giftedness and underachievement. Most common behavior disorder in gifted children is ADHD. Dual exceptionality students are at risk for underachievement since they have barriers to achieving at their level of giftedness. In conclusion, school-based programs in counseling are important to the development of gifted students. Giftedness is not a problem to be solved, but a unique challenge to be nourished. Counseling is a necessary component in the successful development of talent.